And welcome to the We Are Money podcast, brought to you by Beasley, Mitchell & Company. My name's Brad Beasley, and with me, as always, is David. Hello, David.
Hi, Brad. How are you?
Just fine, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well.
How is tax season treating you?
Tax season is kind of sticking it to me, but that's the time of the year.
It looks like you're doing the opposite of wintering well now. You are tax season form, so you're trimming up, thinning down. You know, is that the long hours that's doing that? Or,
yeah, stress is a great way to lose weight.
Is it? Probably not recommended.
Not recommended, but...
Well, and that's a great way when we talk about losing weight, we talk about staying healthy, and we talk about benefits. And so with us today is Heidi Moccia, who's an independent insurance broker.
Thanks for having me today.
So, Heidi, we're here talking today. Our episode 17 is, the title is If the Bene-fits, Wear It.
Exactly.
Right? That's a great title that you guys came up with. And so we're going to talk today about health insurance, but more specifically Medicare. So, Heidi, kind of give us your background, give us your, a little bit about you and then what you and your company does.
Sure. Well, so as an independent insurance broker, I help people, and my specialty is helping people look at their Medicare options. So I try to make Medicare less confusing and help folks understand and navigate the Medicare maze. And as a broker, I have relationships with multiple companies to fit each client's needs, budget, and lifestyle. And I also I'm part of a team of independent brokers locally called Distinguished Choice Insurance Solutions. And so among all of us, we have a combined 40 years of experience in insurance to try to really be sure that we take care of each individual client.
I got to imagine this industry has just been changing like crazy. And I know that, you're telling us about all the education and different stuff you have to go through. I mean, I got to imagine it's pretty daunting to try to stay on top of this stuff.
Prior to this and prior to taking care of my children, I was a pharmaceutical rep. Okay. And one of the things I learned then, and it's still true now, is one constant is change. If you're in healthcare, there's always going to be change. If you don't like that, it's not for you.
I knew some pharmaceutical reps in college, but I don't think it was
probably not the same one.
Probably not the same organizational structure as that. So I'm just kidding. So tell me, a lot of people get confused. So give us a background. What is Medicare and what is it for?
So Medicare is a federal health insurance program. It's for U.S. citizens and legal permanent residents that have been continuously legal permanent residents for the last 5 years. It's for people that are age 65 and older. It's also for some people with disabilities who are under 65, and then also people with end-stage renal disease, which is permanent kidney failure that requires dialysis or transplant. So those are the things they have to be eligible for Medicare.
Now, there's something interesting with the kidney stuff. Is why the kidney thing is there. It was a weird change in how that they could use the kidney fact that it's got kidney failure in there to access some of the funds for some of those. I don't remember if any of you guys have ever seen any of that. I may be completely off base, but there's a reason why it's just like random that it says it's kidney people as opposed to lung cancer or something like that, right?
Right.
So it's kind of an interesting deal. I know that we get confused a lot of times between Medicare and Medicaid. And my funny story I always have about Medicare and Medicaid was that had a friend of ours that was a little bit older, and they had pulled up to Walgreens, and they were in their car, and the lady said, "Well, ma'am, are you on Medicare?" And she's like, "I drive a Lexus. I am not on Medicare." And the lady said, "I didn't ask you if you were poor. I asked you if you were old." So that was always a good one. And so that's how I always remember the Medicare, Medicaid type of thing. So it's kind of different. So in your specific stuff, you're focusing on the stuff that Medicare doesn't cover. So like the different kinds of insurance, what are those kind of, there's different areas of insurance I think that you're covering beyond just what Medicare covers.
Right. So Medicare if you hear of original Medicare, that's considered Part A and Part B, and that is typically covering hospital coverage and medical care, like doctor's visits. But then Medicare does not cover, all expenses, all things. So original Medicare leaves an enrollee responsible for 20% of Medicare approved amounts. That's after deductibles. They also have no out-of-pocket maximum. So there's no safety net for a catastrophic medical year. Um, and then there also is no prescription drug coverage. So to try to make sure that everyone has complete coverage, besides looking at what original Medicare offers them and the costs and the benefits, we also talk about Medicare supplements or Medigap, which kind of fills that gap. It'll pay a lot of that 20% cost. And then Part D, which is the prescription drug plans. So we talk about that, make sure they get some kind of prescription drug coverage. Or Part C, we call it combination, Part C for combination, and that will pair A and B, so original Medicare hospital and doctor with the prescription drug coverage, all in one plan provided by a private insurance company. So those are kind of the parts that, we look at what is the best for that particular client, but make sure that they know about all of those so we can do what's best for them. And I'm a broker, so I work with multiple carriers. I'm not working for just one. And so we really sit and look at all of their options.
I always get confused with all the A, B, C, and D. The only time that I get to see more of those is right now during tax season when I get the Social Security statements, and I'm like, okay, Part D, Part B, okay. Then I start remembering how those are. So
yeah, it's very confusing because I actually was surprised. I didn't know that Medicare still left that pretty substantial gaps. I mean, we're talking 20%. If you're, the hip surgery for grandma or whatever that you, like we said off air, we're talking, $15,000, they're going to come out of pocket $3,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty tough. Do you feel, and this is the opinion section, and all opinions on this show are directly related to the person themselves and not to the actual broker or the companies that may represent, but do you feel that a lot of people tend to forget about that and tend to be underinsured once they get to Medicare a little bit?
Well, that a lot of people are confused by Medicare, and that's where I come in. I want them to be less confused, have all the full information so they can know what the financial costs and risks are they're taking by the choice that they make when they become eligible for Medicare and get enrolled.
What are some of the big mistakes that you've seen maybe from people that when they signed up that, like, I remember there was one for a while that you had to sign up right at the right time, and if not, you can never get it again.
Yes. Well, that probably is what you're thinking of, the Medicare supplements.
Mm-hmm.
So when someone is 65 and starts Part B, they have a 6-month window to get a Medicare supplement as a guarantee issue. So no medical underwriting, no medical questions. After that period, usually they have medical underwriting and medical questions, which can make it a lot more difficult to even be allowed to get on a plan.
are those like the underwriting things they do if you're going for a health insurance and those type of things, or sorry, life insurance, like those type of medical questions? Because I've not had good experience with those. I'm about to call Mr. Lou or whatever the guy is on
Mr. Lou, because he's on number
he's
2.
on number 2.
Yeah, he's on heart cholesterol meds too,
Yes.
or whatever. Right.
So then if when you turn 65, if you want to get on that right away.
Oh yeah, I'm going to
No
try to sign
questions
up
asked.
now. I'm going to try to sign up now, so I'm 30 years ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But every company offers a supplement. It asks different medical questions.
Mm-hmm.
Their focus is different. So our job is to kind of be familiar with those questions. So if someone is looking to get on it after the fact, that we can give them the guidance on what might be a fit.
Yeah, see, Dave, not all of us are the physical specimens that I have. And I know that this is a podcast, so it's kind of, we have a little visual medium with YouTube, but it's also an audio medium. I'm excessively more healthier looking than you are. So.
Yes, well, you are very healthy looking on radio.
Yes.
Yeah, but I always just have trouble with those questions. Not to digress, but
we will
on those, because I got asked a question that said, have you ever been diagnosed with a stomach ache? And I told the lady, I said, yes, I live in New Mexico. I eat Mexican food. I usually have one about 2 hours after eating.
Yes.
Well, when was that? Every day.
Yes. Daily. It's called
Daily.
beans and red
It's called
chili.
beans and red chili.
I haven't not had a stomach ache in 40 years.
Yes.
So it's that's important, because I got to imagine when they get past that 6-month window, that first box that's checked is I am over 65. So that's got to put you in a whole nother gap in terms of health insurance.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And for enrolling in just original Medicare, there's a initial enrollment period that people are eligible for that they don't want to miss either. And that is 3 months before their 65th birthday month, the month of their 65th birthday, and then 3 months after. And so that's kind of their come to me. Let me make sure that you know the timelines, the deadlines, where to go, how to just do this process, have it be seamless, and that also includes the Part D. If there's not an enroll by certain timeline and deadlines, there can be penalties, and there can be penalties for life. You asked earlier, was there someone that, I've run into that, maybe didn't have the complete information or didn't understand it. And yes, I ran into this in the fall as annual enrollment period. And there was a couple of people that were on original Medicare, and that's it. They said, oh, I don't take I'm not really on prescription drugs, so I didn't get a prescription drug plan.
Wow.
Well, the government will penalize them forever, because they did not get on a prescription drug plan in time. And I said, okay, the good news is I can help the penalty from not growing any bigger.
Right.
The bad news is you're going to have a penalty. And so we sat down, but got them taken care of, so that didn't continue.
But I got to imagine the math once you factor in the penalty and the, what happens because of, kind of tell people we don't die the way we used to die. We used to just go to sleep and just not wake up one day. Now it's just like prolonged death, right? And so there's a lot of these costs that occur. You're the tail end of our life are getting very expensive from a healthcare and stuff. So, so that's got to imagine that the cost benefit on that penalty was probably a better deal.
Right.
It's just paying it.
Yeah.
Well, that's crazy. So this is the We Are Money podcast brought to you by Beasley Mitchell & Company. We have Heidi Moccia, an independent insurance broker, and we're talking about health insurance, specifically Medicare and those types of insurance. So when we're talking about Medicare and all the different coverages and this Medigap, now does this also include like long-term care too, or is this a completely separate deal that goes on with that?
Long-term care coverage is a completely separate deal. At this time, I've just specialized in the Medicare insurance options.
Right.
And I had been working in the state of New Mexico, licensed and working in New Mexico. I just added Texas. So I'm expanding there, and I'm about to start working with small business group health insurance. So I don't do individual. I don't do marketplace or Obamacare. And another thing that I've talked about doing is the long-term care, because you see so many people with needs like that.
Well, and it's just so expensive, and that's always the confusion, because I know that Medicare will pay for 10 days or 15 days in an assisted living, but not the whole thing. I mean, it just becomes this whole process. And I really appreciate the work that you do, because I think a lot of clients and a lot of people really need this, because it's so hard to navigate this process. And I mean, I like to think I'm kind of at the peak of, understanding my profession and understanding what clients are doing, but this stuff is just confusing.
Yeah, I have to admit, it's been very rewarding to sit down and see the process, work with folks and getting them to understand, what it is, what the process is, what their needs are, and then matching them with what fits best for them. And the relief, and is that they have, it's been very rewarding. And, and once I work with them, we continue. Each year we just kind of say, what are your needs? If your needs changed, let's make sure that we communicate. And I've had people reach out and say, something as simple as, I haven't got my card yet. Do I need to get it yet? My insurance card, I'll pick up the phone. I've worked some events and picked up the phone and got on the phone with the carrier so that we could get their questions answered.
Right. So again, we are the We Are Money podcast brought to you by Beasley Mitchell & Company. Heidi, thank you so much for joining us. Give us your contact information real quick so that we can post it on our site, and so people can find you if they have questions.
Okay. I am local, although my phone number is still a Southern Illinois number, but that is 618-201-6049. And my email address is HeidiMoccia@gmail.com, which HeidiMoccia
Nice.
At gmail.com. So, and then, so I'm local, and I'd be glad to be a resource for some of you and just kind of help out.
Well, that sounds great. Well, Heidi, thank you so much for your time, and stick around for our next couple segments as we move on to my favorite segment, which is If Brad Ruled the World.
It's time for If Brad Ruled the World.
think if Brad ruled the world right now, I think he'd turn on the air conditioner because I'm like completely hot right now.
I will tell you,
it might just be me.
It's on.
It might just be me. Once again, don't look at that on YouTube and make that statement, right?
Yes.
All right. So if Brad ruled the world, the way we play this game is that Natalie's going to ask me 5 questions, and I have never seen these questions before, and we'll see what happens. Hey, Natalie, how are you?
Hello, good. How are you?
Yes, and that voice for all of you that haven't heard, that is Natalie, our producer. So we bring her in on a few questions. So go ahead, Natalie, fire away.
All right, awesome. So our first question: accounting can be traced all the way back to ancient Mesopotamia. If you could bring back any ancient civilization to modern days, what would it be?
Okay, I would totally bring back the Mayans. Okay, from the Yucatan in Mexico, because I've been to Chichen Itza. And Chichen Itza is their pyramid there in the Yucatan. And I understand why they're not around, because it's like 1,000 degrees there. And so I want to bring them back just to say, hey, did you guys actually like leave, and just leave the earth, which would be really awesome if that's what happened. Or did you just decide, hey, it's so hot here, we're just going to, end it quickly. That's who I would bring back, because I just have questions. And they used to have, just FYI, the Mayans used to have this game. It was kind of like this football volleyball combination.
Oh, the one with the big hoop?
Yeah, so there's a
Yes.
big hoop on the side. So it's kind of like basketball, right? So but you couldn't use your hands. You
You
had to
had to
use
bump
your
it in
hips.
with your
Yeah.
hip.
How's that, Dave? Show us again.
Boom.
That's perfect. You would be really good at that
It's
game.
like, yeah.
The problem is that when you're really good at that game,
If you win, you die.
if you win, you die.
You get beheaded.
Oh no!
So once again, I'm trying to understand. They said, oh yeah, these games would go on forever. Yeah, I think I would too. If the
Yeah.
goal was that
Oops.
if I make a basket, I lose, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to put it in the
It
hole.
probably started out with shooting with the hands, and they're like, I can make that too. Let's use the hip.
Let's do this. Oh yeah. And just try to, hey, there's my buddy Dave. I'm going to knock it off you so that maybe it goes in. But yeah, crazy deal. So that's my Mayan thought.
Interesting.
Yeah.
This is so interesting.
That
Wow.
is.
I'm just a plethora of useless information around here. That's why that's why I'm good at what I do.
I thought about Greek because I think it'd be really cool to have an Under Armour toga.
an Under Armour toga. I thought you were talking about salad. I thought you can go with salad dressing.
Salad
This is such a great salad dressing. Heidi, what about you? Do you have any? I mean, like I said, we're just randomly.
What would I bring back?
Yes. See, the Greeks are kind of fun. I mean, it's always interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't bring back
Yeah.
any of the styles like the wigs and things like that.
No, we don't.
Although
bring
it
those
would add
people
more
back.
hair up here, but
Yeah. Well, you probably need one.
I probably do need one. That's
so-
okay.
So, all right, number 2.
All right, awesome. Number 2, the arrest and conviction of the infamous Al Capone was due to the diligent work of FBI accountants. If you could hire a team of FBI accountants throughout your world, what would you have their first task be?
Well, not look at my stuff. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I am completely above board 100% of the time. No, I think that if I were having my people, depending on what the goal was, if the goal was to try to find cheats and put people behind bars, I think really, if you've seen the movie Ozarks, I don't know if you guys have seen in Netflix, right?
Yes.
right?
We binge watched it.
It's fantastic. They label him as a financial advisor, but really he's a glorified accountant, right? He's doing all this stuff. And he talked about all these cash transactions and that's how he was doing it. He was giving away gas because that way he could record a whole bunch of sales coming in. And so I think that, unfortunately, I think it's those cash-basis business that may not be reporting all of their activity, or in some cases might be over-reporting activity that may not be all legit. So that's where I would go.
That's good because then it also makes it easier when you're doing somebody's taxes if you just look through their bank statements.
But see, I've also been a big proponent of getting rid of cash completely. I think we should just go with all checks and transactions and credit cards and stuff like that. And then that way, to me, that might help out the criminal element, because then you can't just have this underhanded deal where we're just exchanging this cash and it just happens. And
like how this secret briefcase filled with like debit cards.
oh, there you go. Yes. Hey, you need a debit card. Need a debit card.
Is that what but the Bitcoin? I don't know much about that, but isn't that kind of like an under
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
under
a big
like
issue.
a under market?
Yep,
currency.
the dark web money.
So they'd all go there.
Right. No, you're right. 100%. And that's where it's kind of weird is that Bitcoin has gotten synonymous with that. So you can't even if you're dabbling in Bitcoin. I know some of our clients are like, oh, I'm in Bitcoin. I don't want to know. Right. I want to know. So.
Interesting. All right, so number 3, there's been a ban on movies, and you are only allowed to save one movie per genre. What one movie are you saving from the following genres? Action, horror, drama, and comedy.
Action, horror, drama,
And comedy.
and comedy.
You can save one movie per genre.
Okay. I'm going to start with the easy one because I'm a big fan of comedic movies. So in the comedy area, the one movie that I would save would be Dumb and Dumber, because that's just a classic comedy movie. I could start today and podcast would be over in about 2 hours and 10 minutes when the movie's done, because David and I, between the two of us, could probably recite the entire show. So that's my
That's
one
a lovely
for comedy.
accent you have there.
New Jersey.
New Jersey.
And now the rest of the podcast
Yes.
will be Brad and David's rendition of Dumb and Dumber.
Yes, absolutely it is. It is. We had a great time. She touched my leg.
Kill him.
Right. So Dumb and Dumber would be, okay, action. What would be the one action movie that I would save? Is Groundhog Day an action movie? Or is that a drama?
That's probably more of a comedy. Well, actually, it's like a dark comedy drama, but I know what I would say. One that has the need for speed.
Oh, you feel the need?
Yes.
The need for speed. Top Gun.
Yes.
Oh, yes. That's on.
Yes.
Top Gun. That hits all of those. It hits action and drama and comedy.
Yeah. For any of you millennials
Fun.
that are getting into finals week, that is usually the finals week movie. At least it was for me. Like, that's what you
'cause
played all
were,
the time.
You were actually in the movie. You were one of the volleyball players.
Yeah, I'm one in the background there with my shirt off, running
Yeah.
around,
Mm-hmm.
everything. Playing with the moon.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, boy. So horror, I don't do horror. Like, horror scares. Obviously, it scares me.
Wow, what a thought.
Who would've thought? Yeah, I'm just not a big horror fan. I mean, The Shining is awesome.
Ugh.
Like, it's so just creepy and dark. All this new stuff is way too. Like, I'm freaked out by there's the one movie that's out now that's the Us or whatever it is, like Us, right? And it's like just the trailer scares me. Like, it comes on, I'm like, change the channel, right?
See, I could take like Signs, like the M. Night Shyamalan, but
Mhm.
like only the second time. Like, I need to kind of
Mhm.
watch it a little bit and like ease my way into it, and then I'm like, okay, this is gonna happen. So
I screamed in The Sixth Sense like 7 times. Every time that, like, I just remember screaming like a lot, 7 times. Yeah. So
Yeah.
let's see. And then drama. Gosh, what's my favorite drama movie? I don't know. Tombstone. Is Tombstone a drama? Because that's like one of my favorite movies of all time. So I'd probably go with Tombstone.
For me, it's you want the truth, you can't handle the truth.
You called down the thunder. Well, now you got it. Oh, hey, no, sorry. You were going A Few Good Men.
I was going a few
Yeah,
good
that's
men.
A good one.
Wow, I was still going Tombstone. Sorry, I wasn't listening to you.
Yeah. What's new?
Heidi, you got anything to add on any of these movies?
Well, I think most of my horror movie watching has been as a child, because once I got old enough, my brother and I, we would just mock each other and make sure that we had to each watch it. So I watched every Friday the 13th,
Ooh.
all of those. Yes.
Ooh.
If it remotely can happen, I don't watch it anymore. I
Oh, yeah.
refuse to. If it's a little bit sci-fi, okay, I'm good. But I do not. So horror is old school.
Yeah.
Otherwise, but Top Gun, that's like classic.
It's a
That
classic.
that has lasted forever.
Mhm.
And then I think as far as comedy with 2 young kids, I think I've seen Elf more than I can count, and not at the holiday
down.
time. Yeah, sugar.
Yeah.
Sarah, there's Santa. You're not Santa.
Buddy
I mean,
the
all
Elf.
of that.
Buddy the Elf. What's your favorite color? Yeah, when he answers the phone. Actually, recently one of the big horrors was I was actually watching some of David's old games in high school when he played baseball. Those were kind of like horror films. I mean, those are so
Usually,
scary.
yeah.
Those are just scary,
Mhm.
scary as can be. Okay, number 4.
All right. It has been decided that the Winter Olympics needs a new sport to spice things up. And as ruler of the world, it is up to you to decide. What new sport are you bringing to the Winter Olympics?
Oh, goodness. Okay, this is fun. Okay, this can take a little bit. Okay, Winter Olympics. So winter type sports, but it's got to be fun. I'm going to go with polar bear plunging. I'm going to go with like high diving into the cold. But then it's also about how fast you swim out too. Because, obviously you hit that, it's cold and you got to get out. So it's kind of, you have the artistic piece of probably some cannonball action, probably some swan dives or whatever it is, but it's in freezing cold water.
Okay, the only thing with the polar bear things is think of the physique that usually you see people with the polar bear. There's a reason it's called polar bear.
I'm
and that-
trying to see if I can
so,
compete in this. David.
Yes. See, I would think like human curling.
Human
Oh my
curling.
Human
gosh,
curling.
human
Like
curling.
sliding
like
somebody
you
down?
slide the person down, and then you have these other people that are sweeping to try to get them to land.
So what are
It's
they
fun.
wearing exactly?
Yes.
To
Well,
save
it's like the luge outfit, and
I
they're
love
sitting there
it.
just curled up in a
Okay.
ball, and they just kind of
Oh,
go down.
I like it.
Yes.
You went with that. That was a double entendre. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. That's crazy. Human curling.
Human curling.
Nice. All right, we'll go with that one. I like that one. Human curling. Okay.
I like it. All right. And the last question. The people of the world have begged you to create a new holiday for them to celebrate. What holiday are you creating and when will it be celebrated?
Look, the easy move here on this one is to go with my birthday because that's what most rulers would do. And so that's really really easy. So I mean I think that's the easy one. I'm trying to think of what other days would be, Dave. What are you thinking?
Another holiday would have to be, well, I think coming up here, I think whenever the March Madness tournament is, those should just be holidays because people aren't working anyways.
That's true.
So when I was back in Omaha, there was a large medical group that we would do some work for, and they actually said, please don't email us or contact us on that Thursday or Friday because our system is so slow. We're trying to get our people to not stream the games, but it has completely slowed down our site that we don't get anything. So if you need something, call us, but don't send us an email or anything.
That is funny.
So why not just have a 4-day weekend there and that first weekend of the tournament? The rest of it's fine because everybody's gone, but at least that time, that should just be a national holiday.
Well, I think the answer probably is I just was really considering this, and I think the answer is actually going to be March 7th. That's a special day. It's the day the chili cheese Frito was invented. So, as rule of the world, we're going to have National Chili Cheese Frito
Chili
Day.
cheese Frito. We
March
missed
7th.
it this year.
Yeah, it was
Okay,
actually invented.
but we have like 360 days to prepare for
To
next
prepare
year.
for next year's Frito chili or
So
chili
what
cheese Frito Day.
events happen on that day? How does one celebrate?
Well, so first of all, you have eating. I mean, there's an eating contest. Who can
Okay.
eat the most?
We can do a crunches.
Crunches. Who can crunch the most?
Crunch the most.
Or actually do crunches.
Actually
If
do
you eat- If you
crunches.
eat chili cheese Fritos while crunching.
While crunching, yes.
Okay. I like that one. And then I think maybe stacking, Frito chili cheese stacking. So, see how high you can stack chili cheese Fritos.
Nice.
They're hard because some are pretty easy to stack and some are a little hard.
Hopefully we can work this hard enough and get a sponsorship deal or something.
I know. Frito-Lay, call us. Follow us on, just in case Frito-Lay's wondering, you can follow us on Twitter and you can follow us on Facebook at Beasley, Mitchell and Company. Once again, we are the We Are Money podcast. And now we're going to move on to David's favorite segment, David's Legal Corner.
The information contained on David's Legal Corner is provided as a general public service. The listeners, if any, are advised to check for changes to current law and to consult with an attorney. David's Legal Corner does not specialize in employment law, employer law, or employee benefits law. In fact, David is not a special employee, amazing employee, or even generally able to provide any benefit as an employee, or so saith his brother. Therefore, herefore, and to by for, but notwithstanding, not bystanding, nor outstanding, upstanding, freestanding or grandstanding, David's Legal Corner delves into depth of certain impacts, concerns, conjectures, whims, and outright guesses as to the world of employees, employers, employment, emanation, M&Ms, and other sweet indulgences. Thanks for listening. Your job may depend on it, but it probably won't.
Well, I was laughing too hard at that one, but I lost it where it talked about you not being an exemplary employee. And I was like, yeah, that's 100% accurate.
Yes, well, disclaimers and all that. So I thought about, with having Heidi here, we'd kind of delve in just a couple things that we see over here with employment law and related there. And, actually, as the disclaimer says, I'm not a specialist in this area. I do get pulled into this with working with different employers and companies in that. There's just some general rules that you kind of want to look out for if you're an employer looking to work with some employees, that you want to make sure that you have set up before you just go in there. People think it's just easy to start a business and then I'm just going to hire people and work from there.
Just do it.
And I'm just going to do it. Okay, so then I just process the payroll and everything's done. And then, great. Until something happens. And that's usually then after something happens is when I come in. And there was I bring this up because I had a recent case that we ended up just having to settle with the state on behalf of the employee, and the whole thing came down to that the employer just did not have the documentation in place. They hadn't done anything wrong, they just hadn't gotten employee contracts signed, they hadn't had their benefits listed up, and then they hadn't just documented everything, which that is really the name of the game in dealing with employees. Is documenting. And where another place that businesses get is determining the difference between having employees and having independent contractors. And so this kind of goes between both being your tax issues, but also, if you let that contractor go and they think they were an employee, they can go get some benefits. And I know that you probably had some clients that same thing have happened on those type of circumstances.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because with the Affordable Care Act change, they can actually add Now you can actually give health insurance benefits or let them purchase health insurance benefits through a group plan to your independent contractors, which is just, I mean, it's just, it kind of goes against all employment law theory, and all this stuff. But I mean, it makes sense in certain industries. Obviously, like I think the real estate industry, that makes a lot of sense because everybody's an independent contractor, but they're all individuals. And so they can't, it's hard for them to get health insurance because they're not part of the plan. I think that's kind of interesting, but it blurs the line.
Mm-hmm.
Do you deal, Heidi, with people who are still on Medicare or are on Medicare and they also have they're still working for a company that provides health insurance and helping them kind of through some of that stuff too?
Well, so that's kind of one of the things that we talk about is, are they going to retire? Are they going to continue to work? Does their employer provide, some sort of health benefits after they turn 65? Do they need to enroll in Part B? Who's going to be first payer? Who's going to be second payer? So we work with all of that to kind of see maybe they can defer their Part B because they still are ineligible. Or maybe if they are independent, a lot of times it's a lot less expensive for them to get on the Medicare options.
Wow. Yeah, it's super hard. And, I think that unfortunately, with the way that law and employment law and certain practices are going, the idea of just having a small little business with a couple of people, it's just administratively burdensome.
Yeah, there is a lot of cost. People talk about, if you follow some of the troll comments everywhere, anytime anybody's talking about businesses and these evil businesses that are doing this, well, just starting a business and hiring that first person, that is a huge expense, not above whether you're paying them minimum wage or anything else. Just to get everything set up, the benefits that you have to provide, the things that you have to put in place, it's tough, and so it's something that you want to make sure, but you want to make sure that you have all your ducks in a row, everything signed, everything ready to go. As soon as they're hired or extremely shortly thereafter. A lot of things you need to have in place right at the time that you're hiring them and stuff like that.
Right. Well, great. That's always important, Dave. So thank you very much for David's Legal Corner. And just to confirm, you are an awful employee, but you're not a terrible partner.
Awesome. Well, great. So, you just kind of
business partner.
Business. Yes.
Business partner.
Yes. We got listed as Brad and David Beasley one time, and they were listing all these other like couples and everything there. And we're like, can you go change that? I mean, we're not trying to be
judgmental, but
judgmental, but we're not.
We're brothers.
We're brothers.
And that's outlawed in a lot of states.
Yes.
And you showed off your hip bump.
Yes. Even with the hip bump, everything there. It's kind of my cumbia coming out there.
Oh, there you go. That's a good one. All right. Now we'll move on to segment number 5, the best code ever.
Fibonacci binary, the Internal Revenue Code. What will it allow? The best code ever now. The best code ever now.
So I'm not sure what's better, the theme music that we have or the animations that Natalie creates that go along with it on our YouTube stuff.
Oh, obviously the animations, but the music's pretty cool.
Well, I will tell you that the animations, at least, I mean, they look good on me. I mean, they're way off. I mean,
I know the guy's actually thin.
way off. Way off. Way off. So, okay. All right, Natalie, give us the best code ever. So what you're going to do here, Heidi, please play along here.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is she has 4 laws that she's going to give us. Now, this took me like 10 episodes to figure this out, okay? She's going to give us 4 laws. One of the laws is fake, but the other 3 are real.
Okay.
Okay, it's like square one. Remember, one of these are real.
2 truths and a lie.
Yeah, kind of like that, right? Okay, so go ahead. Let's see what you got.
So we have to pick out the fake.
We have to find the
Okay.
fake
Try
one.
and guess which one is fake.
Mhm.
All right, so the first law. In India, anyone over the age of 14 is required to sound the locust alarm with a proclamation by beat of drum. Failure to warn your fellow citizens of locusts can result in a mighty fine or even jail time.
Okay.
Number 2. In southeastern France, it is illegal for UFOs to land on any portion of their territory. Number 3. In Scotland, it is not only illegal to drive a vehicle while intoxicated, it is also illegal to ride a cow while under the influence. And finally, number 4. In France, it is illegal to carry a breathalyzer in your car.
It's illegal to carry a breathalyzer.
Yes.
I could make so many jokes about riding a cow in
Wow.
college and intoxications, but I won't. And it's,
It's a 32 belly option on one.
32 belly. Okay, let's see. So we got India, France, Scotland, another France about illegal breathalyzers.
Now, it's Scotland, not Ireland, right?
Yes, Scotland.
Okay.
Okay, Scotland, because there's cows in Scotland, but not in Ireland.
Well,
Is that what we're doing?
this had to do with being intoxicated.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm pretty sure the Scotch drink a little bit too, because it's called Scotch.
Well,
I'm
just
just
ask.
saying. I thought, you know, if there was a drink that was called the David, I'd probably say that was yours. You probably drink it a little bit. Okay,
Yep.
so which one do you think's fake, Dave?
I think I'm going to have to go with the breathalyzer one.
Okay, so David thinks breathalyzer. Heidi, which one do you think is fake?
I'm going to say the UFOs.
I like that one too. For fun's sake, I'm going to go, because it's the most complicated, is the India one is fake, because it's just way too complicated. Which
All
one?
right. So, David, you're correct. In France, it is illegal to carry a breathalyzer in your car is fake. So it's actually illegal not to carry one. Law requires anyone in France driving to have a breathalyzer in their car.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
So like everybody has the auto lock thing.
Wow.
Pretty
Something
much.
like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
It's the opposite.
Man, they have wine and everything over there. So it's like, oh, sacre bleu, I can't drive.
Oh, yes.
That's the best French I got.
That's
all I
kind
got.
of like a pirate. Those ones are
Yeah.
French,
Yeah.
French
I'm
pirate.
kind of motivated by those French pirates.
Are you?
Yes. We.
We'll be back in a second. Okay, number 2.
All right. So, set number 2. Number 1, it is illegal to hike without clothing in Switzerland. Number 2, it is illegal to kiss someone in India if you have a beard. Number 3, in southwestern France, it is illegal to die without previously purchasing a burial plot. And finally, number 4, it is illegal to feed pigeons in Venice, Italy.
Okay, that's interesting. So once again, kissing with a beard, that also limited, that was
Because you
they
don't.
dated a couple girls in college who probably had beards.
Did they have beards?
Yeah, so it would have been really rough for me to get there. They were swimmers.
They would hold it until
had-
the day before.
Yeah, until the day before, then they had to shave it all completely off. Sorry, that's a joke. That's an athletics department joke, right?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm going to go with illegal kissing if you have a beard. David?
I'm going to have to say the hiking without the clothes because, yeah.
Why would it be illegal?
Well, because you said Switzerland, right? Or
Mhm.
yes,
Yes.
I mean, it's freezing up there. So why would you do that anyways?
I don't know.
Unless to cut down on like frostbite costs or something.
So
Heidi?
I should know about Swiss laws because I actually have dual citizenship
Really?
with U.S. and Switzerland. I do. So,
Ooh.
but I'm not sure whether I can confirm that. So I'm going to go with feed pigeons in Italy.
Okay.
All right.
So what you're saying is that you've really never been hiking naked in Switzerland?
Well, when I was there, the authorities.
Yes, there's just one time, college, young, and I needed the money. But other than that, no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I got to the
I'm
peak
kidding.
of the
Yes,
mountain.
The top. Of course. All right, which one is it?
All right, so it does happen to be illegal to hike without clothing in Switzerland. But the fake law, so that is illegal. So the fake law, it's illegal to kiss someone in India if you have a beard.
So that's
Ah.
the
So
Oh.
the catch to that is that you can kiss someone with a beard. However, you cannot kiss someone with a mustache in India. That is illegal.
At what point does a
Oh.
mustache become a beard?
That was my
I
question.
think it's as soon as it rises above the lip. Like in the Air
Okay.
Force. In the Air Force, we couldn't have beards, but you could have mustaches, and it had to stop at the
Oh.
side of the lip.
Okay, so in
Huh.
the Air Force, you could
Okay.
have the Freddie Mercury.
Yes.
Just want to clarify
Yes.
that. But then if it extended beyond that, it's considered.
You couldn't have the Raleigh fingers.
could have all the Raleigh fingers goes out
Yeah,
that way.
because it extended past your lips.
What about
Pistol
have
Pete.
what about
Pistol
the Fu
Pete.
Manchu?
You couldn't have the goatee or anything there.
Mhm.
Could not have a goatee.
No.
Mhm.
Now, special forces is a different thing because they try to blend in and all that. But so you just
Okay.
have that.
What about when I was in college, in the mid to late 90s, it was cool. Well, at least I thought it was just to have the little here,
the soul patch?
the soul patch.
No, you can.
No, is that a beard?
That would be considered a beard, I think.
Okay.
yeah, I would think so
It's in the
too.
bearded
Yep.
area.
That's probably what my problem was.
Yes.
That's probably what
That was the only problem. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, and so our last set of laws. Number 1, in Canada, it is illegal to pay with coins. Number 2, in Peru, it is illegal to serve prisoners chili sauce. Number 3, it is illegal to marry your first cousin in Utah if you were under the age of 65. And finally, number 4, in Australia, it is illegal to fly a kite, but only if it is annoying someone.
It's illegal to fly a kite in Australia, but only if it's annoying someone. Ooh, man, these are hard. I was reading in the paper about the one in Utah. I'm trying to remember the terms of that one because people were kind of being weird about that one because there's apparently some laws in some states where that's okay and some it's not.
So, but if this law is true, then as long as you are over 65, you can still marry your cousin.
That's correct because they said it was a procreation issue.
Oh, okay. But not the
Right.
inheritance or
No.
issue. Okay.
Yes, I think it was a procreation issue of, I don't know, whatever happens.
Interesting. Not wanting to make sure your family tree branches out and not stay straight.
Not stay straight. not stay straight. Okay, so Heidi, which one do you think is fake?
The Australia.
Australia,
Illegal to fly a kite.
Legal fly kite. Yeah, I was gonna think that. I'm gonna also think. I think the Canadian and coins is fake because I mean, you have like a loonie, right? Isn't that what they're called? Loonies and toonies or something like that in Canada. I don't know.
I think the chili one is fake, although I think it's a fabulous law if you're a fellow prisoner.
No beans,
That's
no
true.
chili.
That's true.
Because it's already hard enough to be.
It's
in
hard
prison.
enough there, but
You shouldn't give people chili.
so
sauce.
don't get people chili sauce.
That just gets a little hard.
What are they going to do on Frito? Chili Frito
Looks
Day.
like she's afraid. Yeah, they'll be
Yeah.
in trouble. I don't like this one, Dave.
No, but see, this is working out because now it's prison's a deterrent because you can't have your chili.
Okay.
So it's working out.
Because it wasn't before.
It wasn't before.
Yeah. So,
Now
It
it
was
is.
questionable.
I know there was days where I sat there and I think, eating 3 squares and working out all day and reading books, I don't know this is all that terrible. Maybe for about 30 minutes a day. But, it's not terrible. I'm just kidding. Moving
Okay.
on. Which one's fake?
So in Canada, it is illegal to pay with coins as fake.
What?
However, they do have laws against paying with coins. You can't pay. It's illegal to pay with too many coins. So, for example, it's illegal to pay $5 in nickels or $10 in dimes.
So you can't be like the jerk that goes there with a whole sack of quarters and be like, "Here's my bill," and drop it on the table.
Drop it on the
Yeah.
table.
Yeah.
That's right.
Or the
Oh.
one company that sent one of my clients a bill for 1 cent.
Oh.
So I took a penny and took a piece of chewing gum and glued it to the invoice
You
and,
would do
and
that.
mailed it back. Of course, it cost me a 49-cent stamp.
Yes.
but it was
So the
the
whole thing
principle of
cost you
things.
50 cents.
Yes.
Right.
But it was the
49 cents plus
principle
one.
of the thing.
Right. Oh, goodness, Dave. Well, you guys are crazy. Yeah. So, that's our fun segment. How did you enjoy that segment?
I did.
Well, again, we are the We Are Money podcast brought to you by Beasley Mitchell & Company. Thank you so much for joining us. Heidi, thank you so much for bringing us. We'll put your contact information up. And so we're really excited to have you as a resource for our clients and for everybody. That's just a really, really good deal. So, David, thank you very much again.
Yeah. Thanks, Brad.
Natalie, thank you.
Thank you.
And it sounds good. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks.